Hello. SPL's back. Demo reviews are back. I'm back. We're back. We're here. You're back. What's up? Let's get into it. Gonna be looking at Kings versus Dragons game 1. And in particular, having a look at the duo lane. I think we'll just ride on board with PBM maybe, but I wanted to start from the start and not be talking over the start of the game, because I think what happens at the start is important. I think it's worth talking about. I think the Dragons showed that you still can kind of springboard off your early pressure on the duo side of the map and do great things with that. I'm not sure how far through this demo we'll go. I think I wanted to look at the duo lane in particular, really. Ooh, which button is it for BBM 3? Oh, I got it. We can ride along with him. Have a look. Levels to 1, stands here. So I'm interested to see what happens, because there is a lot of interesting things apparently. There is an interesting start here from Mike. It seems like he's just chilling in base, not in a rush. Same on the other side, actually. Does eventually pick up the hog, pick up the benevolence, goes over to the left-hand side to stack it away from his team. And will wander up through the jungle. You can see Genetic stacking his passive as well, up by his own tier 2. But opting not to go too far. Red ping there in the duo lane. And they're stepping up. They're trying to see what's on the map. I'm not really sure what the plan is at this point. Looks like Mike just wants to hide in the lane. This is good demo review, by the way. Every team should be doing this. Every SPL team should be doing this, should be having a look at when and why Mike did this. So I want to talk a little bit about what happens here as he goes for the purple invade, and he gets it. Lazy, I think, by the Kings. First game back into the SPL. Was it second? This is maybe their second setback anyway. It was lazy by them to just assume that no invades are going to happen, nothing bad's going to happen. I much prefer this to the duo invade. I don't think invading purple as 2 people is particularly good. Just because you end up in this awkward situation where you have to run back and do your own purple and you end up missing some of the wave. You deny XP. But in this case, I think Yemoja's probably got to be the best for it, right? Often we'll have beads and things like that. This game goes for the Ankh instead, but because of just having multiple casts of that one, is able to clear it out. And now I want to quickly pause and have a look at the XP difference here. So let's have a look. Yemoja, bottom of the XP. That's the important thing to note. Invading things, because of how invading works in Smite, you get reduced XP for enemy camps early on in the game. I don't know how it scales, but basically you get fuck all for invading the level 1 purple. What you do is you deny XP. So you look, these two are saying at 84, but Cupid's saying at 230 XP. So Cupid's going to hit 2 off this wave. None of the rest of them will hit 2 off this wave, but that's fine. Yemoja's not really got a particularly strong level 2, and it gives them pressure. They're happy to play it safe. They don't even have to contest pressure too much. They're just going to focus on clear out the minions slowly, and then they're going to have a level 2 Cupid who can dash out without even clearing the full wave, even just the melees, and Cupid gets 2. And now they can pretty much bully out Genetics and Netrioid on this next wave. Look at the damage they've done to Netrioid there with the Heart Bomb. Opting to go for poke trades, strong, because they've got Yemoja and Cupid, so they're going to have a lot of sustain in this lane. And that's what they're aiming for right now. They're just aiming for pure damage. I don't really like this comp, by the way, by the Kings. I think it's kind of bad. I think that the Daji pick was way too effective. I think that the Loki pick wasn't particularly good. And they end up in a situation where, well, maybe they felt like they should have kept pressure in the duo lane. Heim's a pretty decent pressure god. I do feel like Cupid Yemoja is probably the better 2v2 lane, right? And I think they really struggle with that in this game. They don't really have anywhere where they want to fight. Do you want to fight Loki as Loki and Tyr versus Kukulkan and Daji? Not really. Do you want to fight as Vulcan and Loki versus Daji and Morrigan? No. Do you want to fight in the duo lane? They do, as we'll see. But now, look, they're getting pressured out. They've taken poke steadily over the lane. They think they can stand in box. They get all ins. This is a great beads by Panda Cat, by the way. You'll see here. Good shell by Genetics. But the beads is out the stun. And First Blood will come through. And you look, they've gone through a lot of the pots here as well. On the other side. Put a lot of poke out. And yeah. They get the kill. They probably won't opt to even pressure this purple buff. They know that Genetics has the hog, so they're like, well, what's the point? We can just push this wave into tower, get the scepter, and get purple buff from Marcel. Really nicely. I've kept the XP per minute up this whole time. Sorry about that. But you can see like it evens out a little bit, but Heim down at bottom XP per minute in the game, he has just missed it, nearly a full wave. And I don't know if the purple was dropped by Genetics as well. Let's have a look. It was not, so it saves the purple XP for his ADC, like a good little support would. Anyway, first blood onto Cupid now. Cupid in a very scary situation for the enemy team. Fed Cupid just gonna run the lane. So easy to force people out. Heim, very, very safe. But I don't know. Cupid now not scared of the 1v1 at all. Can push up pretty aggressively. And we'll see how they run the rest of this game, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought like maybe I would just watch like 10 minutes of this one or something. Oh, three attempt by PBM. Doesn't quite connect. PBM's a good Yemoja, but he's not as smooth with the threes as someone like Wrongyu, you know? Even Jake. Laugh spams out of Panda Cat. He got a solo kill in this series as well. I can't remember if it was in this game or in the next one. You see the Scepter here. I think the Scepter being as early as it is in the lane, spawning as early is good. Like, I worry that if it were a bit later, you would maybe see... If it was either earlier or later, you could maybe see, like, junglers rotating over for it. I quite like that it's, like, at least for the first... it does seem to be throughout the game. I quite like that it's like a 2v2 contestable thing for the duo lane, you know? I don't think the Harpies, like... The Harpies were worth so little and gave you so little when you invaded them. I do like this change a little bit more. I'm just gonna look at the left-hand side. Looks like Panda Cat's like Genetics and Net trying to pressure him out, but there's no one. Panda, maybe there are a couple. There's a few players in the ADC role who just seem unflappable, you know? Like when you try and pressure them out, and sometimes they die because of it. They seem so unflappable. Zatman's a big one for that. I think much less than he used to be, but like they're very calm under pressure and they're just like, they never panic and use beads and back off when they don't have to. They always stay up and kind of push the bounds of what they're able to do and where they're able to be. You can see PBM looking at the, so he was looking over the wall there at this, and now he's going to set up for the fight. So he's been calling the Scorpions up. We know that the Kings love to do the Scorpion. Gets in, drops the stun, drops the ult. They did secure it, but he forces them to get on out of there. Scream able to chase now. No low-key ult. Big man running for his life. Gets blown up. Double dashy ult. Don't know if they hit. Oh, they do hit Variety, but no way he dies, right? He'll be able to walk away. But Genetics walks back in, ends up in trouble. So does Twig. And they did get double. Somehow, I don't know. I don't understand how the Kings didn't manage to disengage that, to be honest. I'm watching from PBM's POV, so maybe I couldn't see exactly why Twig couldn't get away from the second Dagiel, but he has gone for the blink. And he did already ult out. So yeah, a nice engage by PBM. Again, this is a story of them knowing the Kings as well. This is them doing their homework properly. You know the Kings are going to be on that Scorpion. And if you're strong for it, if you're in position for it, why not take the fight? If you've got double Dagiel and if you can fight on your terms against like a Loki with no beads, a Vulcan with only one set of beads, a Terra with no beads, or CCM, you know, you can set up favorable fights. And now they'll grab their own score. Make sure this doesn't get invaded by an angry Kings 5-man. They call Net Trioid over. They're like, they got our Scorp, Net. They got it. Take him out. I haven't even met. I got my specs on today, huh? Do I seem smarter? Is the bias working? Do you feel like I'm truly spitting today? I shouldn't be. I'm pretty tired. Got some stuff to do before I go to bed still. Time is it? 11:23. We got time. We got time. I don't have any early meetings tomorrow or anything, so I can just chill out in the morning, have some coffee, read some docs. You know. Check some stuff out on Slack. It'll be chill. Red buff, walking ward right now for PBM. It looks like they did get milked. You can see that their steeple is bereft of milk. PBM walking around, dropping a little wards. pulling genetics over the map. PBM at this point is just like, has no fear. Has a Mail of Renewal online. Who's killing him? You know? Who's killing him? You want to use your stuff on me? Whatever. Look at this. He just no fear. Daji rotates over. They get the pull onto genetics and they force the ult out of net. And now PBM threatening to milk. Well, nice little play there. That was cute. That was a cute play. Is he dead for it? Surely not. No, he's fine. He's got his ult. Vulcan ult will come through. Didn't seem to do much of anything. PBM standing within his walls there. If you didn't know, you get it's Omi regen, right? If you stand within your ult. And they're going to chase in. Wow. And look, they're always threatening to go on different targets. Nice play by Netrioid. Good blink. I think Pendacat missed the heart bomb. That was a nice escape by Netrioid. But still, you can see the pressure here from the Dragons, or the blue screen. The blue team, as they are, rather, on the UI. Just suffocating. How are you ever fighting? Where are you fighting? When are you fighting? As the Kings here. But yeah. But this is the kind of thing Kings maybe couldn't got. They could have gotten away with this comp if they were a bit fresher, a bit sharper. But for me, they were caught sleeping a little bit coming into this set, particularly on the duo side of the map. And I personally did not like the Loki pick. And I think that this Daji was picked, I think 2-3. I think they first picked Yemoja, and then it was what, Vulcan Terra maybe? I could check. I'll check. I don't know. But anyway, as soon as the Daji was locked in, it was value, you know. Locked in into Vulcan, and then you go for a Loki with a blink. You've got a tier with a blink, you know. You get this Morrigan, I think, with it. I think they picked Morrigan and Daji, 2-3. Just a really, really strong Daji. She's a very frustrating character to draft against. There's characters like that, you know. When Ares can be a good pick, when Geb can be a good pick, when a Wheelish can be a good pick, they can be really frustrating to draft against. Hell is another one, right? Where, like, if you make a mistake and then they get a 4th or 5th pick, like, really good Hell game, you feel like you've just lost before the game even starts. I can't imagine the Kings felt that way about this one. They did get... They got pressured. The game got run. It's only 2k gold at this point. Let's have a look at the XP, though. Look, the XP is growing. This is all sort of just natural gains. There's no objectives really yet. There's no big team fights. This is just the natural things that you feel like the Dragons deserve to get with their pressure. The big mistake was the death in duo lane. I think there was a bit of over-aggressiveness. Oh, if you wanted to see PBM's level order, there it is. Has upgraded his Ankh. Doesn't go for the one with the miasma. When's that going to become a thing? The other Ankh? Drowned Ankh? We got to make Drowned Ankh viable. You know what I personally have done and fixed? They're gonna fix the name of Manticore's spikes to be Manticore's spikes. At the moment, it's a singular spike. Nobody wants a singular spike. Even in the picture, it's got a couple of them. Does anybody build it this game? I don't know. Build paths. Mike is working on his flowers. His what do you call that? I'll remember the name. Fey Blessed Hoops. Working on his Fey Blessed Hoops. Really, really OP item. It's too cheap for the stats it has on it, and it's incredibly strong on someone like Yemoja who just drops the flowers. It's the item which drops little flowers which give you shield either when a teammate dies or when you heal an ally. Drops flowers that drop you, that give you a little shield, a little health shield, and it's very, very strong on Yemoja. Guan as well, I think, is another character who really abuses it. I do feel like it's one of these where... Unfortunate to say it, but it's never going to be balanced. There's items like that they introduce that are just too niche. Screen gets caught off there. Good Fearless by Variety. The Varieteer. I don't know how many of you were around for Season 3 Worlds when Variety looked like maybe the best player in the world on that. There's the solo kill. We got to do a little solo kill replay here. Let's check it out. Oh, I'm so bad at spectating. Sorry, everybody. Let's just go. We'll watch it at normal speed. Hiding on the wall, Netroid ball. He knows he's there. Oh, maybe not. Just hits everything. Doesn't miss an auto. Oh, Netrioid has a little TP. And he drops him the taunts. Netrioid did have beads available if he wanted them, but did not have ult. I wonder if Panda had that cooldown in his mind. He has the Transcendence stacked up. I wonder if that was an ult for ult trade at some point. Haim, I imagine, has a slightly longer ult cooldown, but I don't know off the top of my head. Then they go for their purple, try and secure it, and Pagon will get in there. And we'll go back to the person we're spectating, which is Mike. I was going to go back and replay that fight, but I'm already... I don't know. I don't want this replay to go on for too long. But yeah, this is how they ran the early game. I don't know how much of it I'm going to watch. I guess I'll just watch the whole thing, huh? Might as well. See how they run fights later on. Feyblast hoops online. Now I can actually read the passive properly. Grants the god a shield that equals 7.5% of their max HP that lasts for 8 seconds. The flowers, you got to pick them up pretty quick, and it's kind of... I don't think the UX is particularly good on it. User experience, it just means like how they're displayed. I think they're weird. I don't know. And also, the shield on them looks kind of like Magi's. I don't know if they've fixed that yet. The whole thing, I think, unfortunately, they're just an item that's either, like, the stats are too good on it because it's not good on enough people, and it's too niche, and it's never going to be good in casuals because nobody plays as part of a team. So it's just going to be, it's like, just going to be ridiculously OP in competitive or not viable is the problem here. Pyro will get picked up. As well, the thing is, like, shields, anti-shield mechanics don't really exist. You know, you've got Sunder, you've got Ankh, but they don't really work very well for these little 7.5% shields that, you know, Yemoja can just spam and make many of them appear on the ground. So I think that I've said that before. I did a whole video on tries to get the milk, not able to get the milk. But again, look at how aggressive Mike can be. Same level as the enemy ADC. Netroid should have beads for this and should be fine. But he's just able to do whatever he wants. Also, look at the stats on this bad boy, by the way. 60 match pots, 350 health, and I think it's what, 2200? It's cheap as chips. So cheap. The problem with both Spikes and Feyblast is they're just way too cheap for the stats. Variety around the back. Sometimes when you get flanked like this, the idea should just be to run forward at them. This time they kind of back off and then they go in, but they look for Netroid. Netroid already used the beads, already used the ult. Does trade at the very least. There's a tier getting out of there. We're watching PBM and he's just auto-ing up goddamn Monolith. Yeah, I think he autoed it like 4 times. Panda's like, I guess I'll kill it. I think it was an interesting buff for Terra. I kind of hate it. Monolith should not be 5 health points at level 1, in my opinion. Maybe it should rank up over time. Genetics gets this, by the way. Drops the 2. Horrendous. Horrendous. By the dragons. Just fucking drop it. Drop the goddamn objective and kill him. You stupid idiots. In a rush there. Bad calls. No definitive call, you know. You've got to call that when you see that person coming in. You've got to call that ahead of time. You've got to say, okay, we're tanking this up. Well, there's not a lot to talk about. Oh, James Bond for PBM, by the way. Kill on to Scream from Twig. This was a cool pick off on the right hand side. This was a moment where it kind of felt like the Kings were maybe going to do the Kings thing where they shit it up for the start of the game and then just kind of like squeeze their way to a late game and win. But the problem is their comp doesn't even scale better. They're so outclassed in the early game. And then in the late game, they're still pretty outclassed. Purple buff invade one more time from a 4-0 Cupid. You can see the duo side of the map really has gone out of control. Scream doing his usual. Making sure that he gets involved. Keeps that top deaths in the SPL stat up there. I don't know if he still has it, actually. Didn't die that much over the last little while on the Dragons. But maybe. What was I saying? I don't know. I felt like I was making some kind of salient point, and I've fucking lost it. Late game, yeah, I finished that. I don't know. There was something I was saying. Just pretend that I finished the point. Nice engage again. As I said, felt like the Kings were maybe gonna do it at this point. They really got into it. This is a great ult. Really well placed by PBM. Finds Big Man. Stays in the ult to make sure he gets only regen. Actually picks up the kill himself. They did use double dashy ult there. So this is when they're kind of weak for a little bit. They've used a lot. Yemoja ults on cooldown, Daji ults on cooldown, Morrigan ults on cooldown, Panda Cat's dead. Finally got the shutdown on that. But here you go. Look at those shields, man. Yeah. I'm expecting another basically perma-ban Yemoja phase. I think we saw it 2 times this weekend. Once on PolarBearMike and once on Neil Ma. That was another game I actually thought about doing a demo review of. I really liked the Warriors this week, surprisingly. Maybe we'll see more of that. But I thought the Warriors started off the phase really strong. I do feel like they just kind of live and die on how Cubo Fred's playing from any given week, and he lives and dies on like which gods are meta and which he's able to get. Tends to go down a route where he'll get certain things and play great. I feel like this is more of a havering now, isn't it? I'm just talking about random things. Back to base, will go. PBM, he's about to get his compassion. How are you killing him now? How are you killing anyone? Yemoja with Fey Blast, a Mailer of Renewal, and a compassion. So difficult to get through them. And you're so reliant on that with this dive. You want to go in with the Terra. I guess not blinking, because opted for the Exploding Sunder and the Phantom Shell. You got to go in with the Terra. You've got to get that AoE damage off, and you've got to be able to take somebody down and make the damage over time count, and maybe be able to kill a frontliner. I don't know. I don't really know what the point of this comp is. As I said, I don't really like it. Oh, look at Mike. He's just totally fearless. Just 3-ing forward, looking for more. Big man becomes the target. He just gets exploded by Fino. And it's just, I don't know. Look at all the stuff that Mike got hit by. He's fine. He has no fear. Fino K is fine. He has no fear. The only one who has any fear is Scream. Variety is also fearless. Haha. Oh, anyway, Pyromancer will go down. Fino K just taking a walk through a tower because he can. Because he cannot be vinced. And we'll have the Stronghold. Extra Mage Prots from his Fizz Prots. Cool item, you don't really see very much. So it's interesting to see if that's going to be viable. Tainted as well, really strong. This patch, in my opinion, the upgrades are just crazy stat-wise. The Mage Prot one in particular. What is it, 80 Mage Prots or something? Nuts. It might even be more. Maybe he'll build it and I can hover over it because I don't know what any items do anymore. But yeah. I do think Fey Blast is going to dominate. Interested to see more of Guan Yu. I think we saw Nika play it. It was in a game where Neil was playing Yemoja as well. We saw Guan and Yemoja. But I think in this set, I wonder if I can bring up the bans. Let's hope it doesn't mess anything up. I'm pretty sure it was banned bottom 2. It wasn't banned at all, apparently. It was banned bottom 2 in game 2, maybe. But yeah, not valued by everybody super high, Guan. But I imagine going to be seen. Also considered like a soft counter into tier, I think. Has a decent matchup. I think a really good tier will do well regardless, though. It doesn't really care about matchups that much. Right, he's done what he could this game. The problem started in the duo lane. You can see now that Netrioid has gotten a decent amount of farm just trying to stay... Look at that, man. How are you killing anybody? You don't do any damage even to Scream. Variety... Solo laners all have that ADC mentality I was talking about before, where they can hold their buttons. They'll never panic. They never think you're killing them. I want to fast forward because we're 21 minutes in, but this is probably going to be a big fight. Mike not even worried about what's in front of him, just listening to the comms. Forward will go. The Daji pull in. The Terra. Mike positions to get an Ankh. Steps up. Holding on to the ult this whole time, by the way. They kill Big Man. He's just holding it. Will he use it now? Saving it for next game? Guess so. Maybe he should have used it. Some haters will say he should have used this at some point there, perhaps. But, you know, kill on the tier, not worth that much. FG worth a lot more. You can basically guarantee an FG. Oh, Variety and Netro not commenting very well on their wards. You can basically guarantee an FG with Yemoja. It's really strong if you put the wall up in the right place. Let's see how Mike positions here. Seems to be confident. You can tell from the way they position that their comms are good. Mike doesn't need to be looking out the way. He can hear Tag on and Fino telling him you know, where the enemies are. It's safe. Stay on it. Stay on it. If you're doing that in ranked, you're panicking, you're spinning around, your ADC's gotten off the FG and is chasing the enemy solo laner over the firewalls. Yeah, Twig does what a good jungler does, gets out of dodge and steals some camps, gets some farm. But it seems like a hopeless task here. It is a Pridwin, finally get some CDR. It is really nice to have CDR on Yemoja. Does get that in the 4th slot. I really like Spear of Deso on her. For ranked and things like that. Super fun. Chronos Pendant as well, obviously. Very fun. But like, you can't really, you gotta be getting Fable S-Tubes early on at the moment. And to get Fable S-Tubes, I feel like it's great to go either Thebes or Mail of Renewal also. For that early game tankiness. Anyway. See how this final push goes down. I could have fast forwarded there, huh? Too busy bloody nattering. Bloody nattering on about nothing. Did he stun the tower? Oh, ho, ho, little tower stun, was it? Little tower stun. Moonlit Strike. Does stun the tower. The levels the ult last. PBM. Can't remember what leveling the ult does. Just damage? Yeah, it makes sense. You don't really care about the damage on it. It does do some, like, okay damage from ahead, but... yeah, other ability is going to be... more worthwhile. Movement speed and prots on the 3, pretty tasty, and the heal obviously scales on the 2 and the 1. So you're always going to level first. Forward goes Fino, and it was a blink straight into ult from Scream. And look at this sustain. Look at it. It's so silly. It's so silly. You ulted me? I'm stuck in here with you? No, you're stuck in here with me. And he'll heal them up. Look at them go. All good. All healthy. Are they gonna mess up this end? They're back on out of there, yeah. Good call. You don't want to end there. You got this game in the bag anyway. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what y'all in the comments think. See, it's gonna be a bad subsection of the, not bad subsection, but a biased subsection of the viewership if I ask now. I was gonna ask, like, should I have ended this? Should I have just watched the first 10 minutes and ended that there if I wanted to focus on the early game? Or do you prefer the full video? But the people who just wanted me to end at 10 minutes are probably already fucked off, right? They're probably gone. It's just you lot left and you're like, yeah. Make it longer. Daddy? Sorry. Alright, let's fast forward a little bit here. So I can get to my bed soon. Here we go. Fight around FG. They choose, they're like, left's down. We don't really want to get forced into an uneven contest here. Vulcanal does hit Scream. There was a was it in this game that there was that Vulcanal that very nearly killed 2 people? It must be the next game. There was a big Vulcanal that very nearly killed 2 and killed nobody. But that was a nice play by the Kings. They do play late game macro really, really nicely. Outside of sieging, I think they're one of the worst sieging teams in the league, or at least they were. But in terms of like knowing where and when to group up around objectives and things like that, I think they're really good. This one, they force that fight. They do some good stuff. Let's see what was used though, relics wise. Nothing really. Really wasn't bad at all. In terms of the Kings, they get a Gold Fury off it. They get some respite around the map. They kind of waste the rest of that FG. I don't know how much was left on it. But now wards will get set up. Terra pushing out the waves. I think maybe she's trying to get her compassion. That's why she's solo farming up on the Geo side of the map. And her being there is like it's a signal. It's not a guarantee, but it's a big signal to the dragons that, you know, right, they're going to give this one up. Fino, you go maraud up, make sure there's nobody around. We'll pick this one up. We can tank this for free because we have OP Yemoja. And no problem. There they go. Twig gonna go and get another fire wave to try and make sure that they have oh, he actually does nothing. He just walks over there. I guess they called that they needed to back now. I do like that. I like that they get back, you know, before it's too late. Again, I don't know why I'm talking about ranked games so much, but I feel like a lot of the time in your ranked games, people will back just like a couple seconds too late. Fight comes through, Netrioid gets dived, Netrioid gets exploded. Good ult again by PBM. Notice how places it in those areas where there's no real route backwards out of it, only a route forwards. Gives his team space as well. Keeps his backline alive. Peg on! Right, no! He's tried. Twig gets it. Cool guys don't look at the kills they got. Oh! I saw O's. Twig will bravely run away. And PBM will chase him. But it doesn't really matter. No taunts. No taunts, but a Titan that will fall. Let's see if there's any taunts out of Panda Cat. Surely they don't kill Big Man one more time. He's got to preserve the KDA of 0.5. Listen now. Oh, no taunts. Interesting. Blue team have gotten the victory. Jazzberry Jam, not blue. Anyway, that was fun. We're back with demo reviews. I'll see if I can do any more this week. It's quite unlikely, to be honest. Also, Soggy will be subbing in on Friday for me. So, yeah. Have a quick look over the stats. Anything shout out to you? Player healing, 9.2k, 5.5k. Doesn't look that high, honestly. But the impact from the Yemoja. The impact from the Yemoja is huge. 23 wards. Getting those wards out there. Genetics having a tough time to get any farm. I mean, you look at the GPM difference between the two. And Netrioid as well, pretty far down in the GPM charts. Just the Joe lane getting rolled over. But yeah, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what other games you'd like to see demo reviews from, particularly from the upcoming weekend. I'll keep an eye out. But it's nice to hear what you want to see. So if there's players or player god combos or teams or anything you want to see, let me know down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.